Bada bing, bada boom. We are back. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing the conclusion of this here session right here that we're doing. The name of the game is Voloheen, Winds of War. The name of this episode, episode 15, is Siren Song, being dungeon mastered by the fearless and ever awesome Asa Kinney, right over there. And let's see, when we last left our characters, they had taken a long rest. Be sure to do that. You know, you too. Be sure to take a little long rest with your characters and get all your stuff back. And so we had did that. We had done that in the skeleton, the ancient petrified skeleton of a whale named Petunia, who is out in the middle of this giant plain. And we figured out that there is a group of orcs that are mounted on some kind of big creatures that we're not really sure what they are yet, but they're kind of headed in our direction, and Darune's told us that that doesn't bode so well, and we need to get the hell out of Dodge. So Eigner cast Pass Without Trace to hopefully make them a little more stealthy and make it so that they're not leaving any tracks behind as they hoof it out of there. And additionally, Ellie and Leah, because Leah was wearing the Hat of Disguise, they've given the Hat of Disguise to Darune to disguise himself as an orc, which was pretty humorous. And yeah, that's where we're at.
While we're on that...
Also...
Oh, go on.
No, you go. You can go.
Why doesn't Eigner disguise himself as an orc as well? Doesn't he have an ability still?
Is it a spell slot?
I mean, I can. I mean, if you think that would be a good idea.
I think we only need one, and if it's a spell slot, I wouldn't use it.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's
Sure.
Just because. I was going to say that because I keep forgetting that I can start a spell on an item that can then be cast 10 times without using a spell slot.
Disguise self is a great
So I'm gonna start invisibility on something. A wrench.
the incredible wrench of invisibility.
I like it.
Exactly.
Just start
that's
turning
funny.
all of your things invisible and then start throwing them at people?
Well, it's more so we can turn each other invisible. Use it in the wrench. But yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it can be cast 10 times without using spells.
That seems also very useful. Maybe we should do that instead.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get closer because invisibility lasts for an hour. Are we close enough? Are we like an hour away?
Are you looking to use it to hide yourself from the orcs, or are you looking to use it to hide yourself while you enter the...
I think while we enter. I think best for when we enter.
I mean, it could be cast 10 times, so you can use it for both.
Yeah, but there's like how many of us is there? 4?
4.
So that's only two uses plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I'll save it.
Alright,
I've got the art thing for the art.
perfect. So, as you guys begin to run, there's not a lot of great places to hide in this ever desert becoming terrain that I've been explaining. So I would like everyone to make an endurance and stealth check as you try to, move in a way that keeps you out of the line of sight of these orcs, but also are trying to keep a fast pace.
By endurance, do you just mean like a constitution ability check?
Exactly.
Okay,
I
and a
have
stealth
been-
check.
I've been playing games that are very Fallout related recently. I still have all the special skills in my head, so endurance is what I have in mind.
Oh my god, that's been like my dream project for such a long time, is to do a Fallout Dungeons and Dragons game.
Oh yeah,
I've had some cool ideas. I'm going to keep them under my hat for now, but
you and I need to sit down and talk, because I
Yeah.
love the Fallout universe
Oh,
so very
my God.
much. And I remember we did some planning like 15 years ago.
yep.
I mean, I think what we were
sure did.
17, 18. No, it was probably more like 19 at the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were younglings.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Okay, so for the stealth check, remember everyone has a plus 10 beyond what you would already add because of
Nice.
Eigner's pass without trace. So,
Question.
what?
Sorry.
So,
Are we taking Ein with us, or are we leaving him in the skull?
That is a very good question. You had not mentioned him, so I assumed he was coming with, unless you said otherwise.
Do we think is a bit of a liability with like on a stealth mission? But are we also going to be able to get to him to pick him back up again?
I mean,
Are
it's
the
like
orcs going to find him and take him for scrap? Because I'm happy with that.
it's kind of up to you.
I will say, if you bring up the idea, Darun will rough and go, well, I don't imagine we're coming back this way, so it's going to be hard to get him back home.
Now he's going with. I'll
There it
roll
is.
him a stealth check.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, what is Darun's stat block? I was doing those things too.
All right, I put my rolls in the chat. Eigner rolled garbage for his constitution, which is funny because that's one of his decent things that he can do. Ugh. It's all right.
It's okay. Darun rolled subpar for his stealth. What I mean by that is he rolled a 10. He has got no bonuses. Maybe has
He
a
gets plus
negative
10
one.
now.
So
Pass
he's
without
got a
trace,
20.
though, So plus 10.
Exactly.
alright.
Yeah.
Surely?
So,
Orcs aren't that good, are they?
all right.
I got 21 stealth, and Ein got 21 stealth, and I got 22 con. Do you need me to roll on for Ein? He's a robot.
Yeah, no, he's not going to run out of breath. He's fine. So as you are all charging forward, the pacing becomes, it's like the Lord of the Rings scene where they're running and they're all kind of in that line. And you start to see the hobbits falling behind because, they got little legs. Well, Darun is just booking it at the front right now, just feeling confident because, he's got big legs for once in this big muscular body that he's never been in before. And he's like, oh, this is the best. I can run. And and then he remembers it's just a disguise and he doesn't actually physically look at or he isn't physically any different. He just looks different. Ellie and Ein are just charging up ahead. Leah is kind of, she's not used to this sort of long distance sprinting, but Eigner, I don't know if maybe because he's blind or something, but he's just like, he's catching all the rocks. He's stumbling a bunch. He's just starting to lose his breath, and he's starting to fall pretty far behind with the rest of the group. But at this pace, it doesn't seem like the I'm gonna call him a herd. It doesn't seem like the herd of orcs have noticed you yet. So what do you guys do as Eigner begins to fall behind?
And I mean, it's not going to be a lot, but I would add Flash of Genius to the result as like a pick up the pace, but it's only plus 5,
Sure, it's
so
only
it's not
plus
exactly overly helpful.
Can we do Flash of Genius and Guidance? Because, I mean, Guidance is lame,
So
but
is
it's a
it-
thing.
Is it like you both look back and see he's faltering a bit? So I'll allow retroactive. Like, yeah, we see he's struggling, so we'll use his abilities. So yeah, take both Genius and Guidance and add it to your 6.
Okay, so is guidance just a D4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want me to roll it? You want to roll it?
Please roll it.
I will roll it.
I guess you're supposed to roll it. I rolled it before, but I wasn't supposed.
Well, I rolled awesome. I rolled a 4 plus the
Yeah.
5 is 9 to the 6, bringing it up to 15.
That
Then you're
is
kind of more like me.
Yeah.
exactly what you needed.
Oh,
Catch up with the rest of the group.
Eigner is thankful, even though he doesn't look like it. He looks a little grumbly, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just imagining how that goes down, where the girls like look back and they're like, "Eigner, hurry your lazy ass up," or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, fine."
That's what it takes. Insulting. That's how you get the Eigner to move his butt.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
It gets harder the longer it goes, because anybody who's run for any distance of time realizes that it's not easy to do for 15 minutes, let alone probably about a half an hour, which is what you guys have been running at. And finally, you find a jutting of rock that you're able to duck behind and kind of peek out. You don't see the herd of orcs coming your way. They veered and seem to have given Petunia a little bit of a berth and are now circling around and headed off. You can see their silhouettes making their way further away from you. And it seems as though you have subverted this particular herd at the moment. Darun is panting, breathing heavily, going, "Well, that's not likely to be the last of them. We should keep a vigilant eye out."
Yep. And we have about 30 minutes left on our Pass Without Trace, so let's just keep a move on.
Do we keep it running then? Because I mean, that's thirsty work.
I don't think we need to run, but a forced march is appropriate.
Right, I can do that.
Excellent.
You guys force march for another hour, keeping an eye out on the desert, and and then the sand begins to give way to that hardened, cracked dirt like before. And Darun goes, there it is. We're going to stop up there. And as you follow your gaze to where he's pointing, I have to actually go to the right page. Damn it, lost it. This is annoying. I had this thing and then I absolutely lost it.
Damn it, Asa.
Aha, I found it. Alright. As you follow his finger, he's pointing as the ground begins to rise, becoming a little more hilly, and you can see mountains a few miles in the distance. Maybe a 3-hour journey from here is where the mountains begin. But yeah, you see these hills starting to come up, and it seems like where you're standing now is just the dried out remains of a lake bed or an ocean floor or ocean bed, and you can see the hills ending abruptly in these just flat walls of earth. And he says, "Well, up there's going to be an entrance that's going to allow us to make the rest of the journey underground. So that's probably the safest way for us to go."
Eigner chimes in and says, I agree. He doesn't really illuminate why he's so stoked on it, but Eigner's preferred territory is actually underground.
And then as Eigner stands up and begins to move in that direction, even though he couldn't see where Drew was pointing, he feels the earth beneath him begin to give way, and I would like him to make a dexterity save.
Sweet. Okay, so hold on. So it's like I do get a situational bonus, but it doesn't make sense. No, so I probably just have the -1. Oh, dang it. Rolled a 3, get a 2 total. Eigner, no! Why?
The cracked earth
Eigner?
beneath you gives way, turning to soft sand as you begin to feel yourself sloping downward, and then you are tumbling down a steep decline, and you hit the bottom of this thing and immediately feel the sand underneath you moving, and something grasp at your body.
Would you allow me to cast a spell?
I would like you to roll initiative,
Oh, God.
and then we'll decide if you have the ability to cast a spell.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, sweet.
Everyone else can roll just to get us into the thing of the stuff.
Mm-hmm. I have an 11.
Okay.
6.
Is this an Ankeg, Asa?
Uh, which one is the Ankeg?
I don't know. It's like the big like
Just trying to remember what that
um,
looks like.
you know, it's like a. I can't even think of words right now. It's like a sand monster. It's like I don't know.
One that's
It's
kind of
like
scorpion-like.
It's
I
kind of
don't.
like a scorpion. It's like a big bug that burrows in the earth. I don't know.
Oh,
It is whatever you want it to be.
I mean, it's exactly what I'm going to use it as, and I don't know if it's an Ankeg or not. Oh,
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. They're really early in the monster manual. The big ant thing.
Yeah.
Well, is that what that?
Yeah. All right. No, it's a sarlacc, isn't it, Asa?
It's an absolute Sarlacc. Okay, so
Figures.
if I'm
Egner
gonna
pull-
have a Sarlacc, why not?
Egner pulled a Boba Fett. No.
Don't worry, just explode its internal organs and crawl your way out.
Okay.
If you're gonna be Boba Fett, do it right.
Easy.
Okay, so Agner's was what again? 10.
11. 11.
Ellie was 6.
Mine was also 6,
Leah was also 6. I
and
don't
I
care.
think Ellie's got better decks than me, so I think she goes first.
And Ein goes on your turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Daroon. Daroon rolled a 1.
Nice.
I love my NPCs going last. Cool. So the creature in the sand gets to go first,
Sweet.
and I'm going to make one big ol' attack roll on you as it tries to consume you. Boom.
Bring it.
That is a 23.
That'll hit.
As you feel these, and those of you above, you see as this pit drops about 10 feet. Just the cracked earth was just holding up a little bit, and it just shatters down into this funneled like trap. And at the bottom, 2 large pincers come up and clamp around Eigner. They are thin, mandible, insectoid-like thingies that are grabbing him, and you're going to take damage because that's what you do. Damn it! Where are my dice? I'm not prepared for combat.
Egner's not pleased. Egner is not pleased.
That is 14 points of slashing damage.
Mm.
And then you get to make a strength or acrobatics or athletics check to break the grapple as it begins to pull you into the sand.
Oh my god. It's so awful. It's 11. It's 11.
Yep.
You
You
was-
watch as
I mean,
Agner
I have a
is
way to get
pulled
myself
halfway
out.
into the sand.
Egner starts screaming like a person that's getting pulled into sand. Ah!
Get it off me!
Agner,
No.
it's your turn.
Oh, really? Okay, sweet, because I have a way out of this. But I'm thinking about if I should do anything else clever first.
Just to mention door, and then we'll just all run away.
Well, yeah, that is definitely what I'm going to do, but I want to kind of fuck this thing up first before I do that.
Why?
Agner wants to make attacks. He just wants to.
Well,
Can you
I
do
mean-
Dimension Door and make other actions?
well, I mean, if I do my action surge.
Oh, right.
Action Surge is the best ability ever. Alright, so definitely doing that. Definitely popping my Action Surge. First thing I'm going to do is a... Yeah, first thing I'm going to do is a 3rd level casting of Inflict Wounds. So, I'm getting pincered by the pincers, and I'm going to try and orient myself where it's like I'm facing its head instead of like facing the other way. I'm going to try and face its head, and then I'm just going to get my arm out there and just put my hand right on its fucking face and try and hit it with Inflict Wounds. Please roll well for once. That's pretty decent. That's going to be a 20 even.
Okay, that'll hit.
Oh, sick. Alright, here we go. Not using the Rick and Morty dice. Definitely not. Okay. 12. It's gonna be 20, 25. One more. Oh, sick. Okay. 35 necrotic damage
Dang.
to its face as the wispy strands of shadowy black energy. They don't look all like wispy anymore. They're a torrent of necrotic force just blasting out of the palm of Eigner's hand, and he screams with rage and pain as he channels that into the creature. And then with a word, boom, he dimension doors out of the creature's mandibles, up the thing. Essentially, he just wants to appear right next to the other folks.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much going to be his turn.
The mandibles like quiver, and you hear this high pitched screeching sound that sounds very insectoid, and then you are out of its grasp, and from above, Agner, you hear just this thrashing of sand, and from above you see the mandibles kind of blackened and a little bit rotted away, thrashing madly, and then a head and two hands pull up out of the sand for a moment, and that makes it Ellie's turn. And Ellie, you need to make a charisma saving of 15.
Charisma saving throws, huh?
Yep.
Charisma, huh?
Oh. God, my charisma save.
Wish I could help
it's
you.
not good enough. I'm gonna. What's it gonna be? Fear, or charm, or sleep, something like that.
Are you talking about what the source
I-
is?
Yeah, you don't need to tell me. I'm just working out whether to use my flash of genius on my result, whether it's important enough to me. Probably gonna use it on it. So then it will be a 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 16 will pass.
Yeah. 11
Um,
wouldn't have.
you upon seeing this creature, you're momentarily having a hard time comprehending how this thing even exists. Um, just your understanding of science and of biology. How can an insect of this size have a exoskeleton that sustains it? And you begin to just try to reason your way through this, and then you're like, no, this is combat, this is survival. I've got to act now. I'll think about it later. And you save the effect. What are you gonna do with your turn?
God, I hadn't prepared spells for fighting. I will suggest we all run. And
Alright.
Grease.
Well, does it look like it's pulling itself like it's gonna chase after us?
It has pulled itself up out of the ground enough to be able to like see you guys. And that's as far as you've seen before you need to make an action.
I'm gonna use the dash action and just try and like run and skirt around it and get just away from it in the direction that we're going in.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And I'm taking Ein with me.
All right. I would like you to make a dexterity save as you run.
Okay. 9.
All right. You make it most of the distance away in the direction of the hillside that had that immediate breaking or wall-like surface, and as you get to the extent of your sprint, Ein only only feet behind you, you feel the give on your feet as well, and you find yourself sliding down another one of these pitfalls. Leah, it's your turn.
Well, I was going to try and go ahead and do what um, Ellie was going to do and just like try to skirt around the area and make for the same place that we were aiming for. So I guess, do I also need to do some kind of a save?
Um, so you've seen the ground give way under Ellie, and her begin to fall into another pit trap,
Okay.
which gives you the ability to recognize that there is more than just this one.
Right.
So do with that information what you're going to do with it, and I'll tell you what happens.
How close am I to Ellie? Can I like try and see if I can grab her?
Ellie, you did a dash action in your full movement, so that's 60 feet.
Oh, far away. Unless I was also dashing with her at the same time, which I would have been trying to do, but that's not how initiative works.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're in mid run with her, but it would take an action to actually have stopped her. So if you dash run as well, then you wouldn't.
Then I wouldn't have the action to stop her anyway.
Exactly.
Well, am I going to say that I didn't dash or that I did dash? No, I'm going to go ahead and say that what Leah was going to, like, Leah would not have seen that piece of information soon enough to stop running and start doing something else.
Okay. So make that saving throw then.
She's been running with Ellie.
Oh, Ellie, will you make a saving throw for Ein too?
Yeah. Was it a dex save? 11.
Okay. He is also sliding down the same trap you've fallen into.
At least you guys are together.
And what did Leah get?
Oh, see, you didn't tell me if I needed to actually roll or not.
Oh yeah, roll a dex save as well.
Okay. 9. I guess I'm going in the pit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this pit, as you three are going into it, just seems to be like larger than the other one. The other one is maybe like 5 feet. And this one's about 10 feet in diameter. And
Well, Leah's screaming in fury. She is pissed off.
yeah, and Darun is 30 feet behind you, just going, "We gotta keep running!" And then sees you guys falling down into the pit, and goes, "Ah, shit!" And like kind of stops in his tracks and begins to look at the ground warily. And then he is. That's all he's gonna do. He doesn't know how to react to the situation because he can't get to them in time. Egner, not Egner. Monsters.
Monsters.
Okay. We are going to do a roll off to see who he attacks. Oh, it's gonna be Ein. So
Keep them doggies
26 against Ein. It's most likely going to hit.
Yeah. I think so.
And that is
Yeah.
16 points of slashing damage as the mandibles come up out of the ground and grasp him and begin to pull. He can make a strength or dexterity attempt to break the grapple.
16 slashing, and then oh my god, this dice is only rolling 10s,
Oh no.
but it's athletics, so 19.
Yeah, so Ein is just big and metal and is just able to grab those mandibles and just kind of and yank them open enough to pull itself free. And he doesn't even lose a sock in the sand. With that, it's Eigner's turn.
Okay, well, I can definitely tell that people are running away in the sand. I can definitely tell. The creature that tried to get me is now burrowed up from its hole, and it's like right in front of me, right?
It's still in the hole. It's just
Oh.
it has its head now visibly exposed.
Oh, okay.
which you can't tell because you
Yeah,
can't see it.
for sure. Well, in that case, I think I will be following the sound of the girls running away and then going ee as they fall in the fucking
All right.
pit.
I want you to make a charisma saving throw
Oh.
before you do anything.
Oh, great, dude, great. That's exactly what I wanted to do, Asa.
No, that's why I asked you to do it.
12.
Okay. You, as you are hearing the sounds, you start to just feel this sense of, like, almost like you have heat stroke. You don't quite know where you're at and what's going on. The sounds are coming to you in this muffled sort of way, and you can not take reactions, and on your turn can do nothing.
Ouch. Well, that makes it easy then.
So you stand in this confusion for the remainder of the round. As
What?
Darun launches toward the hole that you three have fallen down into, and is putting down his halberd. And one of you grab hold of this. I'm strong enough to pull you up. I can tell by my green muscles.
Oh. Oh dear.
And as he says that, the creature lashes in the sand again, reaching out for one of you. This time it is Ellie with a critical success, so it's 28 in total.
Yep.
And that is 23 piercing damage as the pincers just grab you and pull you down. Ellie is pulled all the way under the sand. And it is Eigner's. Oh, no, we did Eigner's turn already. It's Ellie's. I fucked up the turn order somewhere in there, didn't I? Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did Darun, who would usually go after us, I think. First time.
Yeah, I should have had Darun. Oh, well, it's Ellie's turn. That's what we're going to go with.
But I'm under the sand.
You're
I'm
under
under
the
the
sand.
sand.
Exactly.
Am I like held under the sand, or can I like try and claw my way?
There are large pincers wrapped around your body, and you can feel like little you don't even know what they are, but something kind of like lashing out and attempting to chew on you as the pincers like just hold tight.
Okay. That's not gonna help me though.
What are you doing with the cursor, Kyle?
Dude,
It's just floating around the screen.
dude, I know. It's really annoying. They changed something with either Zoom or OBS where it's like you cannot, like, the cursor has to show up now. Like, there was a way where you could hide the cursor. And it's like, even when I'm looking at other windows, like, it's still,
that explains
yeah, so I'll, like, tab out to a different window, and it's still, like, floating all over the place. Annoying.
Gotcha.
Annoying.
So one, I always forget that I have a certain item that would have gotten me out of the situation, but it's way too late for that now.
Can you not use it now?
Well, it's like you have to have been. It boots the winding path that you can use, and then send you back 15 feet. But it has to have been that you'd have to have been in that space in that turn. So like when I fell into the sand, I could have gone back 15 feet and not fallen in.
Gotcha.
But now, it's too late.
Now that you're pulled into the sand, you can't go up 15 feet and not be in this creature's grasp anymore. Gotcha.
Is there like so? How far can I like scramble to clear enough space to like to be able to verbally cast a spell?
Yeah, you
Like,
can
well,
make an attempt to just poke to get your head out of the ground. So just make a strength check to pull your head free, and that'll give you enough though.
Strength or athletics?
Athletics is fine.
Yes. Athletics is so much better.
Yeah, because you're actually trained in it. My water's not next to me.
22.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to just to get your hands on the mandibles and give yourself enough of a push to break the sand. You are only just pulled underneath the sand by a few inches, so you're able to get your head out above the sand.
And because I have the Warcaster feat, I don't need to use some. I can do the somatic. Well, I can do it with weapons in my hands, but I'm
Right.
just going to presume that means I don't really need to. Like,
You don't need your hands to
Um,
perform somatic components.
yeah. So I'm going to cast Blink on myself.
Nice.
All right.
In the hopes that I'll disappear and I won't be in its grasp anymore.
All right. Yeah. How far do you blink?
Well, I think it depends on how you want to work it, because at the end of my turn, I roll to see if I disappear. And then if I disappear, I'm on the ethereal plane in the same place that I disappeared. And then at the start of my next turn, I reappear 10 feet away.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it also then depends on like if it's still even grabbing anything when I disappear. I presume it's. I don't know. that's how.
Okay. So
Yeah, I disappear.
cool. Give me just a second. I need to prepare a thing for this because I had not prepared it, but I need to. So, as you disappear, the sand kind of washes over you, and you feel like you're in a world made up of the smallest particles of all forms of being. Like every grain of sand is magic in and of itself, and you feel something kind of still holding on to you, but loosely. And you see this creature that your brain's got a hard time sort of working out exactly what it is. It stands on two legs, but doesn't have any other appendages. Its mouth separates into three different, like ending in three different claws, and the skin around its mouth just stretches out. And it's this mouth that kind of has you grasped. But this creature is quite a bit smaller than the one that had you grappled earlier. And it's you can feel the mouth sort of like flux as it seems to be trying to suck something off of you. And then of course it ends in this little whiplash of a tail. And you think it has eyes. You're not sure if it just has two sets that are looking at you, or if its body has many eyes along its surface. It's again one of those things that your brain just can't work out the detail of.
Okay. Do I think it's like? Do I think it can hold me while in the ethereal plane?
Its grasp is loose, but it is latched onto you, and its little feet are like dangling in the air. It's not standing on anything. But you also aren't standing on anything. Although you feel ground beneath you.
Cool. That's my turn.
Are you moving the 10 feet? Or
I think that only happens at the start of my next turn.
alright.
Yeah.
And then that makes it Leah's turn.
I don't know if this is something Leah would know or not, but is the thing a beast?
You saw it earlier, and it is not.
Okay.
It is a monstrosity, if that matters for any ruling purposes.
Probably not. But I am going to Yeah, I was going to do something that was on a beast because I thought it was a beast, but it's not, so I'm not going to do that.
Gotcha. Darun has his his thing jutted out there, trying to get somebody to grab onto it so I can pull him up.
Yeah, I could do that, but also it has Ellie, and that I gotta do something about that.
Right.
Well, you would have seen Ellie disappear, though.
Well, yeah, that's true. Ellie's head pokes out of the sand and then vanishes.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say if it was under the sand, then I wouldn't have known that.
Well, she would notice spell as well. She uses it enough, so you'd
Yeah.
probably know.
Yeah, if I had seen that part, then I would have seen that. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, Leah will grab it onto it because she doesn't care as much about Ein.
Mm,
All
you
right.
can always build a new one.
You grab on,
That's
and
right.
then Daroon's newly found orcish muscles strain as he pulls you out of the sand, and out of the hole with his
We're in there,
helmet.
still dwarf muscles.
Nonsense! They look big and orcish. They're orcish muscles.
Okay. So does he get me out then?
He gets you out.
Cool. But
Um,
that's my action, right? So I can't do a spell.
yeah, I will. I'll give you holding on to the polearm as like you can just reach out and do that, and then you can still cast a spell. But you'll
Okay.
still be in the sand when you do it.
Okay.
Because it's Daroon's turn that he's pulling you up.
Got it. Then I'm going to do. Oh, I was gonna do an actual spell, but now I think I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast it,
Okay.
like a person who Eldritch blasts.
All right. You have disadvantage because it is mostly in sand.
Okay. Then I'll roll these twice. Well, those are two very bad rolls. And additional bad rolls. So that's 18, 15, and 15.
The 18 hits. The other ones miss.
Okay. $13 force damage.
All right. You just launch a few Eldritch blasts into the sand, and most of them just. But one, you hear a slight muffled like sound, and you see the sand kind of swirl and move in response to. And then you are yanked free of the hole, and the mandibles attempt to latch onto Ein again at a 14. Does that hit him?
Oh, no. No,
Okay.
it is 15.
Yeah. Ein definitely is able to avoid being grappled by this thing. And Eigner, it is not your turn because you got stunned by that gaze.
I mean, the monsters go before me anyways.
Well, yeah, but there's only one monster that was going to act, I thought. But does a... Well, you have disadvantage. Okay, so you... 24 is going to hit your AC, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
You take 11 points of damage as you feel something wrap around your ankle, something that feels like a hand, and squeeze really, really, really hard until the point that your muscle feels like it is going to burst out of this thing's grasp.
Sweet.
And now it's your turn.
I just can't get a fucking break, dude. Do I have to do like another charisma saving throw, like at all?
No.
Okay, I'm good. Okay,
You're
Alright.
good for now.
as long as I'm good. Well, I gotta do something about this freaking thing that's right there. I am tempted to cast Blink as well because I also have that spell.
Okay.
But actually, no, I think Eigner's just gonna, I don't know, maybe save that for more of a emergency situation. He's pretty confident he can hack at this thing. He's gonna try and like maneuver, just like pivot a little bit, try and get a sense of like where the hand is connecting to, and he's gonna take Talon's blade out and he's gonna go and try and just swipe, bop, bop, and hit the thing that's grabbing his ankle.
All right.
So first attack. I'm sorry. Let me get this thing up there. All right. So that's going to be a 27 and a 21 to hit.
Those both hit.
Okay. And then that is going to be that, and maybe I can do a little maneuver thing right here. I am gonna do, I guess a trip attack, even though that doesn't make a lot of sense. If the target's large or smaller, I can make it do a strength saving throw to fall prone. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm mostly just using it to try and bump up the damage a little bit. So
Okay.
whether or not the trip will be like effective at all, I don't even know.
I will use this to say if I'll make it make a saving throw to see if you break from its grapple.
That's cool. Alright, so let's see. The total is going to be 23 magical slashing damage from the two swips, and then it does a strength saving throw DC 16.
Okay. So yeah, you just bring your sword down as you twist your ankle and swing it in two strong arcs. The first one is like bashing against something, like almost bashing against a wall. But you think you've got a good bead on where that blade landed, and take another shot in the exact same spot, and you hear this crack sound as your blade gives through this time, and the strength of the hand gripping your ankle reduces a little bit, but doesn't let go. And as you kind of yank your ankle at the same time, you feel this thing moving with your ankle.
Mm.
And those of you around can see that you have severed its arm, and it is still attached to your body.
That's just
Gross.
that's just great. That's just awesome. I let's see what I'm gonna do. Well, this is gonna be kind of a weird visual, but I'm gonna try and like use a bonus action to shield bash it off of my leg. So I'm gonna like lift my leg up, like try and get the arm like kind of up there, and then I'm gonna be like whoopah,
All right, all
like,
right,
try and do that. So it's
go
gonna
for
be
it.
opposed athletics for the shield bash.
All right.
I have a total of 17.
Yeah. So you're able to get your shield up and just bash and knock this thing free. It takes a couple of hits, but then like each one the
Ooh.
grip reduces a little more each time.
Excellent. And since I was doing that with Fenya's Shield of Light, this is a feature I haven't quite used on this shield yet, but it does take radiant damage from getting
Cool.
blasted with the light shield. So that's going to be 11 radiant damage.
Every time you smack the arm, your shield kind of like puts off a burst of light.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. King, king. And
Alright,
then the last thing I'm going to do is run away, or not run away, run toward where I think the Darun and the gals are, 30,
Alright.
30 feet. And that's
And
what I do.
that makes it Ellie's turn.
So, question:
Answer.
if Ein could fly, could I sit on his back while he flew?
He's a large beast, isn't he?
Well, he's technically medium. Technically.
I will show you the world flying.
If he's a medium beast, I'm going to say no. He's got to be size category larger than you.
But that would be
Okay.
so cool, Asa.
It would be really cool. But I could also see it going really, like, really wonky.
Sure.
That's fine. All it means is that I'm using a higher spell slot to cast fly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna reappear, and I want to reappear on top of Ein.
Alright.
And I'm gonna, I think it's fly touch, a touch spell. Yeah. So I'm gonna like put a hand on my chest, put a hand on Ein's back, and I'm gonna cast fly, and then so we both have wings sprout, and then I am flying out of there.
Okay, so as you move through the ethereal plane,
Oh yeah.
moving
That
over
too.
to the kind of shimmering, not really coalesced being that is a representative of Ein, you see this thing is still sort of attached to you, and its little legs sort of flow behind it as you move away, and then you climb onto Ein, and poof back into the mortal plane. There's nothing attached to you, but you just have this sense of feeling like you're, like when you have a maggot that's ever touched you, and you're just like, ugh, this thing was on me. You just have that sort of gross out feeling. Maybe it's just me who doesn't like maggots, but
I get,
You are
yeah,
on-
I'm just worried that it is secretly still there. Like,
understandable.
okay.
You are on Ein. You two raise up into the air, flying out of the clutches of this creature.
Yep.
Uh,
Just like straight up for now. It's
Okay.
60 feet, so maybe not straight up 60 feet, but out of the pit. However much
Yeah.
it takes out of the pit, and then like slightly towards our destination. And I'll just be like, we should go to everybody else.
Right.
It's easy for you to
Oh,
say.
and I don't actually disappear. I stay visible in there.
cool. It is now Leah's turn.
Right.
Kieran has pulled you up, and
I am going to cast Hold Monster on the monster so that it does not come after us.
okay.
Unless I should do another one. Is there one that's more mobile or?
No, if you kind of look back at Eigner running towards you as he's bashing off this arm, you don't see. You see as the one that held on to him is like dropping back into its little.
Goddamn
pit.
better. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And this one you can only see its mandibles sticking up out of the sand, kind of flailing back and forth as it was trying to grab Ein.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but also, well, because also I kind of want to look and see if we keep running, if there are going to be more pits, like if that's something that I can identify. I don't know if that takes a whole action, so.
I would say in this moment it would take a whole action, yeah.
She's probably still going to cast the spell just to. She doesn't want that thing doing more stuff. So it's a Wisdom 18.
All right. These things are loving to critically fail their saving throws.
Excellent.
You see its mandibles begin to go under the surface again, and then just stop and do not move.
Cool. It is paralyzed for up to 1 minute, but it can, at the end of each of its turns, it can make another Wisdom saving throw.
Right. And Darun, kind of shoulders his halberd again and looks down at the creature and goes, "Right, so watch our steps then." And he starts to walk carefully through the dried up lake bed. It is now Eigner's turn.
All right, Eigner. Just focus on moving. He's going to try and identify. He's going to try and listen to the voice of maybe Darun, who's the last person to have said something. And he's just going to try and get as close to Darun as he can. As far as, if he has to do a dash to get right up next to Darun, then he will. But he would also like to do a perception check now that he knows of the danger of the pitfalls. He's going to try and open up his, spider web ground tremor sense mentality, and he's going to try and, see if he can figure out where the weak spots are and where the solid ground is.
All right. Go ahead and give me a check.
It's going to be a 21.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, your perception of this webbing follows along a pretty steady plane, but you have these spaces where it feels like the webbing just drops away, and you can't feel a vibration. So it's more like blank spots than it is actual. Than it is represent or recognizing a specific sound.
Mm-hmm.
You also can hear the slight, subtle shifting of sand in certain places as these pits are sort of being maintained.
Mm. Helps
There,
it. Mhm.
there are about 4 of them, probably within the radius that you can see.
Okay. I was gonna say that helps to have spidey sense sometimes. Eigner is going to try and take point and focus all of his attention on figuring out where these blank spots are and trying to guide the party through them, not through them, around them, give them a wide berth. Yeah, he's going to try his best to do that.
Does he
Right.
tell the rest of us that
Oh,
like
yeah.
he can kind of tell where they are,
Yeah.
sense where they are, and follow
Exactly.
him?
Yeah, he will say. He'll say, "Look, I'm not going to do that shit again that I just did. So, and I can sense where these things are. You got to trust me."
All right, then we'll follow.
Does he realize that Ellie's flying?
I
Probably
mean,
not.
probably not.
Leah will tell him. Ellie and Ein are up in the air currently.
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are.
She's never cast a spell before.
Seems like something she would do.
Ignor's not surprised. His in his assessment, Ellie probably can just like do anything she wants. You know, so someone's like,
Yeah,
so
just
someone's
about.
like, Ellie and Ian are flying, and he's like, duh.
Why wouldn't they be?
Why wouldn't they be?
Obviously.
If she wanted to fly,
I
she could do it.
I like to. So this is the first time that I've cast a spell, and the way I'm imagining it is both on her and Ein. It's like huge, like clockwork wings, so like made of like metal, and like they creak a little bit when they flap. But you can probably hear like this creaking
Hmm.
magic metal.
You gotta oil your wings, Ellie.
Don't make me drop file down on you.
Use some of the grease.
on Eigner.
No, use some of the grease on your wings.
Oh, whoops! I missed.
Yeah.
Just trying to grease these wings in flight, and it just landed on Eigner. What you gonna do?
It's understandable. It really is. Wow.
So, with careful steps and following in the path of Eigner, and sometimes just flying overhead, you, Ellie, from your vantage point, you can see across this former lake bed. You can see the slight dips in the dried earth where the soft sand has been moved underneath, and you can kind of point out that there are several of these little traps. They're all no less than about 60 feet away from each other. So it's kind of like they have their own hunting ground, and if they get too close, that's a problem. But you guys make your way to that cliff edge, hill cliff. I described it in a way that's confusing me. You make your way to the hill that ends in a rough wall, and you don't see anything obvious within the dirt wall that is before you. The sun is sitting in a place where you're cast in the shadow of this hill, though. And and Darun goes, "Oh, there's an entrance here somewhere. We just gotta find it." He starts like pounding on the earth.
Darun, allow me. And Eigner will kind of do what he's doing. He'll place one hand on the face of it, and then he'll use the other hand to knock on it to like set vibrations going, and then he'll just tune into the way the vibrations are interacting with the earth, and try and figure out what's going on.
Yeah. So as you begin to knock and feel these vibrations, they vibrate a little bit into the sand, or into the dirt on the wall, maybe like a few inches, and then stop abruptly. and as you are kind of knocking along the wall, they do this all the way across. The only thing you can tell is a faint fraction of seconds in the difference it takes for the vibrations to come back to you, telling you that whatever they're hitting is pitted and raised in different areas.
Hmm. Seems like there's a natural rock formation behind this construction here. Are you sure, Darun? Are you sure there's not just some kind of lever, or something like?
Uh,
Or do we just have to punch our way through this thing? Like,
there
you're
might
supposed.
be. I haven't used this passageway. Well, never actually used this passageway. I've just been told about it.
Helpful. Very
Yeah.
helpful.
Well, I mean, I'm doing the best I can here. It's this or just go up the mountain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, we'll figure this out. Don't worry.
Oh, I never do. Yes, I do.
Eigner will just keep at it and trying to get as much information out of this process as he can, and he might try and map out in his mind what the shape of the area behind it looks like.
What you are beginning to feel is something that has a central circle opening in the very middle, and like surrounded by a couple of inches of a ring. And that ring branches off with arms, uh, 6 different arms, and then they have another ring. And then as you get to sort of the bottom of this, there's a whole circular area along the bottom, and there are these rised bits and falling bits at the very edge.
Hmm.
And it reminds you of something that you have felt in Ellie's workshop before when she was showing you what a cog is.
Well, that's enough for Eigner to just stop, and he's going to stop right in front of where he's sensing this thing is behind the thing. And he'll say, "Alright, whatever it is that we're looking for, I'm pretty sure it's right behind here. So whatever you got to do to get in there, yeah, let's do that."
Don't you have shape Earth or something, Ellie?
I do.
I mean, because
Shape
Darun's getting
it,
his halberd
shape
ready to
it.
just start smashing, so...
I'll put a hand on Durin's shoulder and just say, I'll handle this.
Oh.
um,
Right. And he looks a little bit
and
disappointed.
then, apologies, but I thought we were going in stealthily. Breaking the door down is not very stealthy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I'm gonna. I mean, because we were talking about before, I'm just gonna throw it in now. She's gonna like essentially wash her hands in oil, like, scrubbing it all in, and then I think I'm kind of changing this a little bit, but like wipe like a sort of circular shape across this, and then essentially move it, part it, or open it outwards so it opens a door for us. Hopefully.
So what's happening is she's shaping the earth away. She's revealing bits of a large rusty cog, and she's seeing more of these, as though it's a giant mechanism that appears to be from a bit of disuse stuck in place.
Well, now's a good time for the grease spell, I guess. Oil
Does
up
it
the...
look like?
We're gonna need a lot
Does
of
it look
grease.
like we need to get it to move, or is it just like it's someone's just put it there over a doorway or something?
You've currently found a mechanism that is a connection of cogs that are stuck in place. Perhaps moving them could reveal a doorway. Perhaps it
Moving
would
them
do
as
something.
in like picking them up and taking them out of the way, or you mean like turning them?
Getting them to turn, yeah.
Okay. Can I try do that while like working out how it works?
Sure. Why don't you give me? You do Tinker's tools?
Yeah.
Yeah. You why don't you give me a tinkery test, um, as well as a insight check.
Uh,
Or why don't you just
Okay.
add your whatever insight's base stat is to your tinker test? That way you just rolling one check.
and what is tinkering again?
It's just your tool proficiency.
Yeah, so that just means that you would add your proficiency bonus to whatever
Insight
Asa
is.
wanted.
Right.
Yeah, wanted to call the like. If I was gonna do it, I would say make an intelligence check, and since you're proficient with Tinker's tools, add your proficiency bonus. But he wants you to
Okay, so it's-
bundle it into the insight.
Yeah, actually, that makes more sense. Just do a tinker's tool, like do an intelligence check with proficiency, and as you're like kind of getting your tools out and beginning to try to understand this thing.
Uh, 22.
All right. Yeah, you're sort of playing with it and fiddling with it, and it seems as though this is gears that have like the cogs are along a shaft on both top and bottom, and it seems like the shaft is meant to slide along these cogs to open something in the center, and so you think if you get these things moving, it'll slide open, and you're pretty sure at this point it's a door.
Okay. So I'll tell the others this and ask them to help with getting it to move.
All right, what are you guys gonna do to help get it moving?
Eigner will use his very fancy muscles. I mean, he's
Those
not.
pretty muscles we were talking about last session.
Yeah. Egner's going to make sure to completely take off his armor, take off his shirt, and be like, ugh. He's going to get some of Ellie's grease and grease up his muscles. I'm
Ellie's
ready.
presuming this is for her benefit.
On the subject of muscles, after our last session, I spent time looking up, like body physique builds to try to figure out what Egner's body build would look like compared to Rory. And I was gonna send you guys all these images I found, and then I was suddenly like, I'm probably the only person who actually like cared about that.
I mean, you could still send the images. I'm just saying.
You can't. It's just going to be funny. Like, look at all these hot guys out there.
Exactly. I was like, hold on. At a certain point, I'm just looking at dudes' muscles. Like,
Who's objecting to this? I don't like.
I say still do it. That's what that's what I say. Oh my god! But no, Ignor's not going to take off his
Right.
whole thing. He's not, but he's definitely going to put some stuff down, and he's going to do the whole do a couple of squats, do a couple of stretches, maybe crack his knuckles a bit, and then he's going to say, "All right, wait, what do you need? All right, I'm ready.
Leo will go ahead and put a hand on Ellie and say, I can't help you much, but here's some guidance.
Thanks. Do you want me to cast grease? Would casting grease help?
They're rusty, maybe.
It does seem like it makes sense."
all right. So
Try
casting
and, like,
grease
quieten it as well.
and
Yeah.
Egner, do your muscly check with advantage because Darun is there. He doesn't go through all the preamble. He just sticks his halberd into something and begins to crank.
Mhm. You want to call it athletics?
Yeah, call it athletics.
You want to call it that? We'll call it that. Okay, cool. That's going to be at 20 even.
Okay. And with the aid of the grease, you begin to feel these cogs start to turn. Bits of the wall start to break off in chunks here and there, and then after a few minutes of grunting and shoving and pushing, the cogs begin to turn. And as soon as they do, they just kind of catch the momentum and move of their own accord, and this doorway's open before you. It's maybe about 10 feet tall and about 20 feet wide. And it opens into a dark passageway that is beset with cobwebs that looks to be hewn from the earth, but also, from what you can tell, there seems to be something very mechanical about its structure.
Cool.
Mine's a Memoria.
I'm gonna pass the wrench around,
the
so everyone can turn themselves invisible.
Oh,
wrench
the old
of
wrench
invisibility.
of invisibility.
Wait, is this a greater wrench of invisibility or a lesser wrench of invisibility? There's a big
Do you think we
difference.
It's Ellie's wrench. Of course, it's greater.
Do you think we should save it for when we get closer, or like how if these tunnels aren't very occupied, we might not need to be invisible yet? I don't know.
We'll get another. We'll get another charge off of them, so we'll have two goes. This one and another one, and like we don't really know how it's gonna be. We might as well just do it now. It's 2 hours. It's an hour. You get an hour from it, so.
Yeah, seems like a safe move.
So, Daroon, how long are we going to be in these tunnels?
This is where we're moving about as blind as anyone. I know these tunnels will lead to where they're taking the young kids, but I don't know anything more than that. Hopefully they don't whine too much, because I wouldn't want to get lost down here.
Oh, don't worry. I got this. I'll be able to lead us through.
Okay, I've got a question, and it's a question I've been wanting to ask for many a session. Does Eigner have find person or find object as a spell?
I think he might.
He had find object. Didn't he use it to get Jaren?
I did indeed do that. Hold on, what level is it? Oh, okay. Well, it's something that I do not have prepared at the moment, but I can. I definitely can. That's on my spell list for sure.
Alright, because I keep thinking that is the type of spell that Eigner needs to have available to him, because it fits so well with the whole way that he sees things.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think what is going out of style, sadly, is Zone of Truth. So I might get that out of there and try and get Locate Object going on.
You should have zoned that truth and then made that corpse talk. Just saying.
Oh, dude. Oh, Locate Creature is a 4th level one. Where's Locate? Where's the other one? Anyway, go on. I'm just looking at spells.
You all have dark vision, right?
Eigner's got better than Dark Vision.
Eigner has no vision.
Better than Dark Vision.
As you step into the tunnel, not igniting any lights, it's, you have a few feet of sunlight. Nope, you don't, because the sunlight was coming this way, so your whole cave was cast in shadow, so you have no light cascading into this tunnel at all as you enter. But you hear the very distinct sound of your footfalls on the floor, and it's not the soft thud you'd expect from Earth, but it is the hollow clunk of something pounding on metal. Every few feet you see these slightly raised discs in the shape of cogs. They seem to be carved of tree trunks and set into the ground. Upon closer inspection, they seem to be nothing more than decorative pieces. And you begin to travel down this pathway. It's about, same as the door, 20 feet wide, 10 feet tall. And you travel down only seeing a 60-foot area at a time. And the whole place is just overrun with cobwebs and the scent of dust and stagnant air. Aside from the wind blowing in from behind you from the entrance, there is no movement in the air at all. And everything just smells of neglect.
We close it behind us, do you think?
Yeah, do you want to try that?
Well, I'm just asking the group if that seems like something that might be useful to do.
What did you say?
Close the door behind us.
I don't know. It's not something I would have thought about. But
I don't know. I kind of want to have a way to get out if something fucked up happens
to
right
get out in a
away.
hurry.
Yeah, if we have to get out in a hurry, might be able to retrace our
Okay.
steps and get out. But it is a
Like
it's
we're
good.
being currently just like pursued or anything, so.
Yeah, I doubt the orcs are going to make it that far. The orcs are going to have to deal with those creatures in the sand first if they want to get to where we are.
It is true.
Okay, then yeah, we'll just go forward.
Oh, I lost something. Okay. Give me just a second, because once again I had a thing and then I lost it, as I keep doing.
Is it a good closing thing?
Oh, is it closing time? I thought we still had an hour to play. I was all ready to keep going. No, that's perfect then.
You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Because I'm gonna close it where I had ended it, and I will close it with this just because it seems wonderful and ominous. Um, as you take a few steps into this darkened corridor, you then hear the grinding sound of metal on metal, and the wind begins to die as the light that is the world behind you is cut off, and you hear the loud thud of the doors closing. You are left entirely in the darkness of this metal tunnel.
Sweet. Well, okay. So where we leave off is Eigner is totally fine because he can use his spidey senses to get around, and everyone else is scared and confused in the darkness. Yay! So, anyways,
That's sweet.
thank
Oh,
you so
sorry.
much for joining us today. This has been an awesome, as usual, broadcast from Roll for Mischief, as I like to say, your favorite nerds. And please come join us again next Tuesday at the same time on the same channel. And we'll be doing this more, and we're probably going to be getting toward the thrilling conclusion of episode 15. If I have to take any bets, I'd probably bet on a thrilling conclusion. So
I hope it's
yeah,
thrilling.
I hope it's thrilling. I mean, no pressure or anything, but yeah, it's got to be thrilling.
Got
All
to be
right,
thrilling.
thanks y'all. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.